Did you know that the porch pirate situation is getting so bad that people are actually moving to different neighborhoods and buildings, as well as obtaining insurance for this type of thing just because of how bad it is? I didn't know this until I read about this. And if you don't know what porch pirates are, it's people that come along and steal packages off of your porch. This has been going on for a while and has been getting worse over the past few years. This is how bad the situation is right now, guys. Nearly half of people that purchase items online can expect to have at least one delivery fall victim to porch pirates during this holiday season. So 50% of people are facing the reality that they might lose at least one package to a porch pirate over these next couple of weeks. That is just awful. And people are doing something about it. Some people are installing cameras. Other people are installing big lock boxes for these companies to put their packages in, things like that. And I've seen some of those around here, which I think is probably the smartest thing to do. I mean, the cameras, guys, so what if you catch them on camera? People wear masks and they come up and they steal it. You have no idea who it was. So yeah, you got a video of somebody stealing your stuff. Congratulations, it's not bringing it back or helping somebody get caught. The best way is to prevent it. But now there's actually insurance for this sort of thing. It's called Porch Pals, okay? They actually just launched their business and they say that it will cover the cost of your stolen packages. It costs $120 a year and it covers up to $2,000 of deliveries or up to 3 claims per year. So you don't have a lot of flexibility with it. If it's something that happens to you a lot, even in insurance like this isn't going to really do much for you. And also, let's face it, who trusts insurance companies anymore? I know I don't, especially a brand new one that's just starting up and you're supposed to believe that they're actually going to give you your money back. How much small print goes along with this new scam? You know what I mean? I'm sure they have a myriad of clauses in there of different ways that they can deny your claim as well. You know, something that people can also do that goes kind of overlooked is that obviously you can be home when you get your packages delivered, but sometimes you don't know when things are going to be delivered and that can be kind of unpredictable. Or if you are not home because you work or you have a job that you have to go to all day, you can get your packages delivered to your office. I know it's not the most convenient thing to do. You have to get it delivered there and then you have to bring it home, but at least you know it's not going to get stolen. And think about this. If you are living in an area where you see so much porch theft and so much crime with this that you're considering getting insurance, well, maybe it's time to start thinking about moving. And that's exactly what some people are doing. But before we get into that, here's something to note. When you lose a package to theft, it's at the retailer's discretion, but sometimes they'll actually replace it for you for free. And this is a slippery slope for the retailers because they have to believe that your package was actually stolen and you didn't steal it and you're trying to, get something for free. And I'm sure they use their own discretion based on your customer history as well as the value of the item to make that call. But a lot of retailers, they want to keep you as a customer. They want to have high customer satisfaction rates. And they usually pay their own shipping insurance with places like FedEx and the post office and UPS. But the problem is, once the package gets delivered and it's confirmed that somebody signed for it or it was dropped off at your front porch, then that insurance is over with. So unfortunately, it doesn't protect against somebody just coming up and stealing your stuff once it's been delivered. Also, the porch theft is not covered by credit card benefits either. Because American Express, they have a great program where they will cover certain losses when it comes to something being lost or stolen when you use an American Express card to make a purchase. But they say with this purchase protection program that it does not cover items that are not reasonably safeguarded or items that are left at an unoccupied location, which means if you get a delivery when you're not home, you're not going to be covered even if you use Amex to make the purchase. But this company, Porch Pals, they say that there's no deductible and they pay out all claims within 72 hours. But once again, guys, if this is happening to you on a regular basis, you only get 3 claims a year and $2,000 worth of merchandise at that. So this isn't the greatest coverage. This is just like an in case sort of thing. This is not something you want to have if you're seeing 2 or 3 packages go missing every month. And like I said, some people are so over this that they're actually moving because of it. There's this woman who lives in New York City and she ended up moving to an apartment with a doorman after she was living in a building that was a favorite of the porch pirates. And her new apartment actually costs hundreds of dollars more per month, but she likes the peace of mind. So if you can afford to do something like that, then you probably should. You know, that brings me to a little side note too, because so many people, you know, bash the fact that I live in a condo and condos are a waste of money and all of this. But let me tell you something, it's nice to have a front desk, okay? We have a front desk that collects all of our packages. They sign for all the deliveries. There's somebody there 24 hours a day, guys. That alone is probably my favorite amenity about living in a building. Knowing that there's somebody there all the time to receive your stuff brings a lot of value to the table. Wow, check this out. I've never seen anything like this. What a display. So I recommend if you live in a house like this, you get some sort of box or delivery location. Like one thing I've seen people do also is they put delivery instructions on the front door, like say, you know, hey, bring it around back or something like that. And porch pirates are very unlikely to go into your backyard to steal that merchandise because they're just looking for an easy, quick getaway, you know, in and out, and just go on the porch and pick it up and leave. The whole camera thing and the Ring doorbell or whatever other camera system people invest money in, I think it's pretty much a waste of money, guys. I mean, you know, a lot of these things come with subscription services. You got to buy the equipment, and at the end of the day, getting something on film isn't going to get those items back. It's probably not going to help you win any sort of dispute either. You're better off just preventing the crime to begin with rather than just getting it on tape. All these camera systems do is like, yeah, FYI, your package was just stolen. Awesome. What are you going to do about it now? And here's something else interesting is I didn't really know this either, but it turns out that homeowners insurance oftentimes can cover theft, but there's always going to be a deductible with homeowners insurance, right? So if you have like a $500 deductible for something like this, then the item needs to be very expensive to even go ahead and make a claim. But honestly, if you make a claim on your homeowner's insurance for a stolen package, you are just setting yourself up for disaster, guys, because as soon as you even call the insurance company, let alone make a claim, you are now going to be on the red flag list, and you can guarantee that your rates are going to go up after that, or you might just end up being dropped. You know, because now you're going from somebody who was relatively low risk, who wasn't making claims, to somebody who all of a sudden is making claims for frivolous items. So once again, just goes back to the fact that prevention is really the best method, just like pregnancy. Now that it is the holiday shopping season, a lot of us are having to deal with returns, myself included. Returns have been piling up over the past 5 years to the point where retailers are starting to push back against these returns. You have companies like Saks Fifth Avenue, Abercrombie, and Zara. They're cracking down and they're adding fees to people who want to return. It's not free anymore. But people are starting to smarten up and they're reading those return policies, and some people have stopped buying altogether from retailers that charge for returns. Let me give you an example from my own life of how I deal with stuff like this. If I'm going to buy something online, I make sure I buy it from a retailer that I can return it for free if I know it's something that is a high probability of a return. Think shoes, think clothes, something that may not work or look the way you expect it to, and there's maybe a 50-50 chance you're going to have to return it. You know, if it's something that I won't likely return, then I'll take a chance maybe and buy it from another retailer where I don't have to worry as much about the return policy. Like for example, I just bought some guitar pedals that were on sale for Black Friday, right? There's a very low possibility I'll have to return those, but if I do, Musician's Friend will accept the return for free, but I have to pay for the return shipping. So it's not free for me to return it if I need to make a return. But there's a 90% chance I'm going to keep everything I bought, so I probably won't have to worry about it. In my experience, I found Amazon to be the easiest with returns, guys. Like, they'll let you return almost everything, and especially this time of year, a lot of retailers, not just Amazon, have a more generous return policy where they give you until the end of January to make a return. But the thing I like about returns with Amazon is that you can just bring it to the UPS store and return it for free almost all the time. You know, that's very convenient, especially for me, because I have a couple of UPS stores right here in Miami Beach that I live close to. But Amazon isn't the end all be all, and they don't sell everything. And sometimes you want to buy stuff from other places that sell more specialty items that you just can't get on Amazon. And in that case, you just need to be more careful and make sure you review the return policy and know what you're getting yourself into before making the purchase. In fact, 2/3 of customers are saying once they find out that retailers have stricter return policies, then it's deterring them from making purchases. And that's a 59% increase from just a year ago in 2023. They talked to one woman here. She used to buy things online from Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus, but once they started charging for returns, then she stopped shopping with them. So in a way, these retailers are also hurting themselves too, because that's a competitive advantage that other retailers are offering when you offer free returns versus a company who doesn't. Who do you think they're going to buy from, especially if the price is the same? But then, like I said, Amazon is not at the end all be all. I guarantee you're not going to find a nice dress or the nice suit that you would find from Saks Fifth Avenue or Neiman Marcus on Amazon. So there's trade-offs there as well. But they say returns in general are up 15% compared to where it was at in 2019. At the same time, shipping fees have increased 20% from just a year ago. So these companies are taking it on the chin with returns, and I understand why a lot of them are trying to make it harder to return merchandise. You also have return fraud on the rise, probably because some of these policies are a little too liberal and people take advantage of it. They say in 2023, about 14% of all retail returns were fraudulent. And just a year before that, in 2022, it was 10.4%. That's a pretty big jump in just 1 year. I mean, people are doing crazy things like they'll buy a $1,000 Lego set and then they'll return just the empty box and they think they're going to get a refund. Or somebody will buy an expensive item and then just put something cheap back in the box and hope that no one will notice. Even at stores, guys, I've seen that it could be easy to get away with stuff like this because you return something at the store, for example, half the time they don't even open the box to see what's inside or make sure the item is working or it's actually what's supposed to be in there. Nothing. They just take the return, process it, next. So even returning something in store, the employees aren't really doing the job on this either. But these returns can cost retailers a lot of money. They say it can take $21 to $46 to process a single return. So you just got to get smart about where you're buying stuff from and look at how much it's going to cost you to return something, if anything, and understand all that before going into purchasing things. But somebody mentioned the other day that, oh, Michael, you're talking about how consumer demand is down, but yet the holiday shopping season is up from a year ago. So how does that work? So here's a couple things. First of all, holiday shopping demand is not overall consumer demand. It's two very different things because this is just a seasonal trend that will go away next month, okay? It's just temporary for now during the holidays. But I want you to consider this. They say that the Black Friday sales are up 3.4% year over year. Okay, so that sounds great, but let's not forget we've had a lot of inflation over the past year, definitely well over 3%, probably more than this 3.4% of the increase in sales, okay? And I want to give you a real world example of exactly how this can work out and look in terms of real life purchases, okay? I bought this pair of shoes from Amazon. They're Adidas shoes, super comfortable. I'll link them below in case anybody wants to check them out. I just bought a new pair about a week ago, and the new price is $69.95. But I purchased this same pair of shoes back in March of this year for $64.99. And I bought a second one because they're so good. I wanted to get another pair thinking they might be on sale for the holidays, but they weren't. The price actually went up $4.95, okay? And that is a 7.09% difference from just a few months ago, guys. I bought the same shoes in March. Fast forward to November, I buy those shoes again, and now they're $5 more or 7% more. So this item, just this one item, is more than double the percentage more of what the uptick in Black Friday sales were. So when you just look at that kind of math alone, and you can just say the average item went up 7% between the beginning of this year and now that people are purchasing for Black Friday, and Black Friday sales are only up 3.4% year over year. When you factor in inflation, then Black Friday sales are actually down 3.5% year over year. It's actually a negative number, but no one wants to look at that. Nobody wants to look that deeply into the situation. No one wants to think outside the box a little bit and think, maybe this guy's onto something. What a great looking ride, huh? And they say, well, the retail season has definitely got off to a strong start, but these last couple of weeks in December are still going to show the full extent of consumers' willingness to spend. And so the National Retail Federation, they're expecting sales in November and December to rise 2.5% and 3% compared to the same periods a year ago. But if you just go by my shoe example, guys, the shoes cost 7% more than they did in March of 2024, less than a year ago. And so, of course, the retail sales are going to be stronger and higher than last year because people need to spend more money to buy the same items that have gone up a lot since a year ago. Not even a year ago in my case. I already covered how much people are going into debt to buy all this stuff too. The buy now, pay later and credit card transactions to spend all this money that people don't have are also at record highs right now. But one of my viewers wrote me an email that gave me a good idea. And he said, Michael, why don't you show on the channel what would happen if you don't pay off your credit card? Or just make the minimum payments, because a lot of people don't realize, how severe that is and how much debt and how much trouble you get into with that. So the average household has about $6,000 in credit card debt as of right now, me making this video. And the average credit card interest rate is at 22%. Okay, so the minimum payment for somebody like that would be $170 a month. But if you only make the minimum payment on that credit card, it will take you 299 months to pay it off, and you will end up paying $10,359.71. That is 25 years, okay? It would take you 25 years to pay off the credit card without spending any additional money. No additional spending on the card, $6,000 balance at today's rates, paying the minimum. And people are just signing up for this like there's no tomorrow right now. And when you see this, it really is truly shocking, guys. And if you're somebody who's struggling with credit card debt right now, I want to just give you a few tips on how you can begin to get out of it. The first thing you have to do is you just have to stop spending money, okay? You can't be using the cards anymore. You have to completely stop. And then from there, what you can start to do is you can start using the snowball method. And what the snowball method is, it's when you pay off the card that has the lowest balance on it first, you pay it completely off, and then now you have extra money left over that you can start putting towards the next highest balance card. And you keep rinsing and repeating and doing that over and over until all of your credit cards are completely paid off. And the thing about this is, number one, as soon as you pay off the first card, it gives you a sense of relief, a sense of accomplishment. Just like when we were talking about in the Nobody Wants to Work video, like once you find something to work for, you find a goal that you have that you know is achievable, all of a sudden it will turn that mentality upside down and make you want to work. And the same thing is true when it comes to getting out of debt. Say you have 5 credit cards with balances, right? The moment you pay off that first one, it's going to make you so much more eager to pay off that second one because you just proved to yourself that you can do it. And it's going to be easier to pay off the second one because now you don't have that 5th payment anymore. The next thing is, if you are in credit card debt, is you have to pay more than the minimum, guys. Like the whole minimum payment thing is a giant scam. I just showed you that it would take you 25 years to pay off a $6,000 balance, and you're going to end up paying close to double, not quite double, by going that route. So it's definitely not the way to go. So you got to pay more than the minimum each month, and paying more than the minimum is going to reduce your principal more and will reduce the amount of interest you're going to pay over the life of the loan, which will ultimately help you pay off the cards faster. And the last thing you can do is you can do debt consolidation. And this is only a good idea if you're really in credit card debt. Like if this is something that you feel like is completely overwhelming and you know you're not going to get out of it without doing this, this is probably the last resort for people. But it's basically like when you get a big loan that pays off all of your credit cards at an agreed upon interest rate and payment, and simplifies things by reducing it all into just one payment. And if you have a higher credit score, you're going to get more favorable repayment terms than people who are missing payments on these credit cards. So that's why it's important to make sure you make your payments on time, and really staying out of debt is the best thing. But if you're in debt, at least be making those payments on time to give yourself a better opportunity for something like this. I thought I would talk about some different subjects today. Really want to hear you guys' feedback on this. You know, I definitely enjoy talking about fresh subjects that I normally don't cover here on the channel. So let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.